Hello, welcome back to One's the Force, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Philikos, and joined as usual by my co-host Dave and George. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello there.
Good evening. Excellent.
Are you ready to chat some Star Wars?
What little we have,
Little we have, but we don't care. There's a little. We've only got a little time to go. 1 week, 1 week, and we get to see the double bill.
We will all be prepping for the double bill. None of us splashed out 155 quid on a seat for the European premiere. As tempting as it was, I guess that is some news. But
Yeah. Well, we'll segue into the first bit of news that, yes, the European premiere. I'll let George, you handle this because you kind of know a bit more about what was going on with that.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I missed the actual show because I was booking my hotel for the premiere. So they announced 2 weeks ago the premiere would be at Royal Albert Hall. For those that don't know, it's like one of the nicest places in the world, and it's one of them really up itself places too, may I add. And they said the premiere will be there, which is great. I mean, they've only hosted 3 premieres before in recent years, and that was Skyfall, Spectre, and Murder in the Orient Express. So when you get Star Wars stripped in event, it's kind of awesome. Because I'm not going to lie, as much as I love Star Wars, I didn't see it as the film that they'd want to be involved with. But anyway, so they announced it'd be on the Tuesday, and they did say tickets may go on sale in the near future. And like, okay, I've got a Royal Albert Hall account, been there before and stuff. I'm a member. I'll keep my eye out, check every day. And then this morning it popped up. Like, we've got put a very few tickets on sale, and there's been a lot of competitions. Anyone's an O2 priority. There's loads on there, stuff like that. You won't win though, but I've tried. Anyway, it's one of them. If you ever see these films, do you know what the inside of Royal Albert Hall looks like? For anyone listening,
Yes,
it's a really, I don't want to say traditional, but it's like a circular bowl, and it's tiers, like the royal boxes, like they do the BAFTAs there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The seats that went on sale today are the 4th tier, and I think I read a comment. People call them nosebleed seats. I don't know if that's some kind of first class saying that they give to people or whatever, but I don't know.
No, nosebleeds basically means that you're so high up in the altitude that you get nosebleed. They're right at the back.
And there we go. And it was only £155 for a non-restricted seat for a film shown 24 hours before the double bill. And if you wanted a restricted seat, it was still 100 quid, even though you can't see some of the proportion of the film. But so they went on sale this morning. I think there was like maybe a max of 200 to 300 tickets. It was really little. And I went on about half an hour after they popped up, and there was well over 100 left. Oh, and so that's about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. So they've been on sale for about 5-6 hours. For Star Wars, I think you can tell that a lot of the fans that would have been this is what I said, this is my limit. Like I wanted to, but I'm not this time of year. Yeah, like if I hadn't had 4 showings booked, I wouldn't have. I hadn't been in London for 3 days because I'm going to the premiere, but I'm going to try and meet them. I'm all prepped up, everything's ready, trains booked, hotels booked. It's going to be amazing next week. But that was my limit. But I guess one of the other reasons I guess we could end this, they announced yesterday that Prince William and Prince Harry will both be attending the premiere. Which is probably one of the reasons why it's now at the Royal Albert Hall. They do have cameos in that, which was said in the last episode. So there's going to be a lot of security. But I can understand why the ticket for that price, it is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I guess you could say, but with no guarantee you can meet anyone. You're right at the top. All the good guys are going to be at the bottom. You're going to be nowhere near them. I don't mind waiting outside for a day in the cold, get some autographs. Speaking of autographs, Canteen Tour tonight is going to be very, very fun.
Yes, I can imagine.
But that's the European premiere. I guess while we're talking Last Jedi, let's go for our schedule for the next couple of episodes. So we've got a lot of stuff prepped that we want to do. And it's very hard getting all 3 of us together. But what we can say is on Sunday nights, we will all be doing a live stream. This is going to be our sort of Last Jedi preview, so a couple of predictions, what we're hoping for, stuff like that. I guess we technically met in the queue for the Episode 8 panel. So in theory, there's a bit of history with us there. That's the journey to the Last Jedi.
I suppose so, yeah.
So Sunday, we would have a special prediction, sort of that kind of video. That's going to be live on Sunday night in UK time, so that'll be afternoon Americans if anyone's listening from over there. And then obviously, I'm going to try and get some premiere stuff maybe on the Facebook page. If I can live stream with YouTube, I'll try. I'm not going to sacrifice like meeting someone. I don't know how terrible that makes me sound, but I will be getting a lot of stuff for us. I will be getting stuff at the event. Maybe drop some, chuck some cards around, unless security take me away for treason. I don't know. But so that's Tuesday technically, and then on Thursday, obviously we'll have all seen the film. We will be doing a spoiler-free review on Thursday, a very special, which I will not be attending.
No, that'll be Dave and I.
It will be Phil and Dave. Purely because I don't know when I'm free. I don't want to disrupt our video because I'm seeing it like 4 times in 3 days, different places.
Nothing wrong with that. No, we're not.
It's just a. It's great, but it's our schedules are hard, so I guess that's one thing to say. That's why sometimes we miss it. We do try and stick to a time slot. But the following Wednesday, 2 weeks from today, our normal episode is going to be purely dedicated to a spoiler-filled episode on The Last Jedi. We'll be discussing everything we can. We would have all seen it twice by then, so we'll have a bit of thought. We'll have had longer to think about it. I'll definitely have my visual companion book, so I'll be giving you all the names of the irrelevant alien creatures you see for like 1/4 of a second in the frame in the background, that kind of thing. But also,
we'll go properly in depth for that.
Yeah, and then maybe a Han Solo trailer at that point too. And there also will be box office figures to talk about.
Yes. So yeah, that is so basically instead of our normal episode in 2 weeks' time, you'll get a complete spoiler-full episode 8 review. And the reason why we want to do it then is because at that particular point, the film would have been out a week. Or 5 days if you're in the US. At that point, it's given fair warning to everyone who's seen it. We are very, very excited to see the film, but we don't want to ruin it for anyone, which is why when Dave and I do our spoiler-free review, we will make sure we will probably have a discussion beforehand about what we're going to leave out, what we will put in, how we'll manage that one. But we're going to try and keep it as that one as spoiler-free as possible. When we do have the spoiler review, we'll tell you it's a spoiler review. We'll make sure it's in the title. We'll make sure that if by that point you haven't seen it, which will hopefully be unlikely, then you know not to watch us that week. But then come back after you've watched it, please. We like our audience. We do like you. Come back after you've seen episode 8. For what will be episode 24 for us, in terms of we are ramping through this and we're absolutely loving this. And again, it was alluding to what George said there. I didn't realize it, but yeah, Dave and I have met on the Thursday into the Friday for the Rogue One panel, but we met George in the Saturday to Sunday night.
Sunday, wasn't it?
For the episode 8 panel. So yes, it's been a year and a half. Yeah. To go from meeting Radu in the queue to 23 episodes and counting on the regular podcast, plus all the specials we've done. So it's been brilliant. But yes, so continuing from episode 8 into a character, into an act of Rey, Daisy Ridley. Now, there's been a rumor recently that she wants to leave Star Wars. By this point, I mean after Episode 9, she didn't want to come back to the saga, didn't want to come back to the franchise, but that has been vehemently denied. Now, I know George has more information on this particular bit, so I'm going to let him take us through that.
Yeah, so Daisy Ridley, it's all the press junkets. I'm keeping far away, but it's still very hard to avoid the massive bits of news. Like I've avoided the first word of the film, and it's that nonsense. But there was a thing come out, but that day is really about the future of Star Wars films. And she said I signed a 3-picture contract to round off the Episode 9 trilogy. Then I can imagine me being finished with it, or something. I'm not reading the whole thing, but I read a tidbit. They went on to say, what about in 30 years' time? And she goes, well, in 30 years' time, we could all be in jail cells next to each other, basically describing Donald Trump's America. And she made a joke about it, and then just a one sentence said in probably a 10-minute interview is all over the internet. And they take it way out of context. And sorry, she's come out this week. She's denied saying she'd want to leave the Star Wars films. She basically just said she was answering a question and that she did sign a 3-picture deal, but she adores working on the films and she loves them. Me summed up with this news, because it's taken out of context, it's so frustrating. But the fact that people need to be going for someone to talk about the future of this 30-year franchise. When she is trying to establish for films outside of Star Wars as well. She's in Murder on the Orient Express. She's filming, I think, a big new sort of teen franchise film called Chaos Walking. I don't like the fact they've cornered her. Are you going to be here for the next 30 years? Because, come on, it's Star Wars. She knows she'd come back when they do the 10th film.
Dave? Hi. Sorry, just sitting here enjoying it. So yeah, I mean, it's been something that's been taken literally so far out of context, as George said. She was asked a question whether she was going to be in Star 3-picture contract, that's going to be me done. But who knows what will happen down the line? Who knows where the next story of Rey will be told? And I'm sure if there's an extra story to be told for Rey, I'm sure Daisy will be well on board for that. She was an actress, but she wasn't exactly well known. I think she'd been in a couple of things. This made Daisy Ridley the actress she is now. She's in demand because of Star Wars. And yes, her work is now speaking for itself outside of that as well, but this is where she launched her platform. I don't see her being all Harrison Ford about it. Down the line, but no, I'm not going to, that's Star Wars. That's my Harrison Ford impression. But yeah, so I don't see her being like that. I think she'll quite happily join in with everything. She seems really happy. I mean, they've been everywhere, and it's hard to not watch some of these things. They're on Jimmy Kimmel, the whole cast the other night. Haven't seen that. I've seen pictures, frames from it.
Yep.
The whole cast is there, and yeah, they all seem to get on so well. So I've got no doubt it is just the press looking for a story. It's clickbait, is what that is. That is just out and out clickbait for anybody to go, oh, Star Wars, and that's getting people on a website, and that's just cheating.
It is. It's clickbait is very annoying, and yes, as Dave said, we've been trying to avoid everything. There was a live stream with Ryan Johnson the other day that I really wanted to watch, but I didn't because again, we don't want any spoilers for it. So the cast on Jimmy Kimmel, there's loads of press coming out there, ramping up the hype, obviously.
Did anyone follow Ryan Johnson on Instagram?
No.
So they're doing the press junkets. You know, the classic hotels, black walls with the poster. He took a picture of every single person that's had to interview him. And if you go on his Instagram, it was like LA Press Day, Day 1, Part 1, 10 pictures, then Part 2, Part 3, Part 4.
Yeah.
He is wonderful. I love him. I've been looking at his pictures on Instagram, nothing else.
I really hope that in the new year we get a book released of all of his photos from the set.
I would imagine we get it like a year or two's time or something.
Yeah, or maybe when the Blu-ray/DVD comes out next year.
Because they did release another 3 pictures behind the scenes, but I still didn't want to have a look at them as much as I love Ryan.
But when they announced that, and when they had like from Celebration this year, and they put up his pictures and everything, they look stunning. There's a lot to be told by just those simple pictures that he's taken. And I'm very excited to see that. Again, hopefully they'll do that with Ron Howard's with Han Solo as well, because of course from Solo, when everything was going wrong, we went, here, look, loads of pictures, we're fine, don't worry about it. But no, from Ryan Johnson, I want to see that book released, and a nice big hardback, loads of glossy pictures.
I can imagine us getting one.
Yeah, I would be first in line to pre-order that. I guarantee you.
What I will say is that the thing I always look back to now is 2 years ago when The Force Awakens came out. I stayed offline. I went off the grid. I didn't watch any of the TV interviews until after the film. I didn't want to do any of that. I think they'll probably live stream the premiere in LA this weekend, like they did 2 years ago and last year at Rogue One. I won't watch any of that.
No.
Whereas last year at Rogue One, I watched every interview before the film. I watched all of them because you knew Rogue One wasn't an episodic film, and we knew the ending, that they stole the Death Star plans. So there was never that. Yeah. You know, that's what I loved about Rogue One, was the build up to each film has been so different. And like this year's like, oh, we've gone back to what it was in 7, but I know that for the Han Solo film in May, I'm going to be feeling like I was before Rogue One.
Just get as much information as possible and see everything. And
yeah, and then the day after Episode 8, that's when I just stormed through YouTube. Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Graham Norton, all of them.
My immediate response when I get home is to go onto Twitter, go onto Facebook, and look up people who are spoiling it for people and tell them off. I did that last when it came to Force Awakens. I got home immediately afterwards and looked up Kylo Ren because I wanted to look up all the rumors for it, because I'd kept away from them. I was like, right, now that I've seen it, I want to see what these rumors were. And of course, the first thing that popped up on Google when I put in Kylo Ren was Kylo Ren kills Han Solo, which was someone from Twitter putting up. I'm like, the film's been out 3 hours. What the hell? And I just went on Twitter and just destroyed the post and made them take it down. So I hate people spoil it.
What I will say is that I said to you guys before we hit record, but everyone should know, social media embargoes are lifted on Saturday nights. And yes, you'll get some great journalists that say it was fantastic, and they'll keep it minimal. There's always one dickhead that's going to spoil it. So avoid Twitter and Facebook from Saturday to Wednesday. You can do it, Bruce. You can do it.
I mean, Saturday and Sunday, I've got X-Wing tournaments anyway, so I'll keep it away from that, and then...
But you'll be in a room with
There's
Star Wars.
definitely no one's going to start about Star Wars in that room.
This is true. This is very true. To be fair, I do have... X-Wing, though, to be fair, is mental for me anyway. I've got... In terms of Star Wars, that's where I get... I talk to people there. That's why one of the places I spread the word for the podcast, and I know I have people who do listen, so hello to you out there. Yes, I will be staying away from it, but I will be in a room full of Star Wars fans, so it's going to be a bit hard. Just be phone off.
Right, should we...
Let's move on. Yes, come on.
Yeah, we have...
Sorry,
go for this, Dave.
Well, I looked at this today because I saw the link that was sent out before we do this. We have a look through a schedule. Honestly, we do. And they're bringing out, it's Columbia Sportswear bringing out some coats that are based on the coats from Luke, Leia, and Han Solo of The Empire Strikes Back. And I was thinking, all right. And then I looked at them and I thought, oh, I really like one of those.
The Han Solo one?
I really like the Luke.
I'll go for the Luke one.
Yeah, I don't. But the Han Solo it's blue. It should be brown. Who knows? That's an argument for another time. But yeah, they're actually, if you go on their website, columbiasportswear.com/Star Wars, and have a look at these jackets, they are superb bits of kit. If you're going to be out in the cold and want to look awesome, why not look like Han Solo? Why not look like Luke Skywalker? If you fancy it, put a layer coat. That's fine as well. Anybody. But yeah, I thought these are excellent pieces. I mean, they're probably going to be really expensive, as these things often are. If you buy Star Wars jackets anywhere.
Warning, if you go and have a look, they don't list the price. So whenever they don't list the price, you know it's going to be expensive.
You have to ask. You can't afford it.
I'm going to guess like $400 or something mad. Because
I would have thought around that mark.
It's when you get these real sports like companies that gear up for snow people, their consumers will buy hundreds, and they're like, oh look, we're going to get the Star Wars fans. Let's quickly double. But I've got to say, I adore the Han Solo one, and I don't know why it's. I mean, the toy was blue, and I know that's a mistake, but I don't know why. It does look nicer in blue than brown. But I love these. It's very bizarre to release them now. They're releasing 1,980 of each because the year 1980 when Empire was released.
Yeah.
But part of me is there like, why didn't you wait 3 years and do it on Empire's 40th anniversary? Why are you releasing it around Christmas with Episode 8? No one's got any money anyway.
We're all spent up now. And I've got popcorn buckets to buy. Oh, no.
Oh, God. That's the other thing, though. If you did go to the European premiere, you'd spend just as much on the popcorn as you would the ticket.
I mean, you've got to go like tux and everything to it. I mean, that would be sweet, but it's not how I envision watching a Star Wars film in a full suit.
No, when it's so close the day after.
No,
exactly. So if you want to check out those quotes, have a look. They are
we'll put a link on
beautiful pieces of work. Yeah.
We'll put a link in the description below, but warning, there is no price. They're probably going to be out of our price bracket,
and I guess we do want them. Say they're on sale tomorrow. Like there's a countdown to when your wallets are going to die for anyone that is going to try. But as well as Star Wars...
However, if anyone wants to buy us one, we will take them. We will lovingly look after them.
We will test them. Yeah, absolutely.
Columbia Sportswear, hook us up.
Yes, I'll take the Han. Dave can have the Luke. Phil,
I'll take Leia. I'll take a Leia in a small, please.
You like that guy?
Anyway, but yes,
moving swiftly on.
Yeah.
So, Pozu, who have a vegan shoe company, let that sink in, who have made some real fine Star Wars shoes over the last year. They have announced a new pair of shoes. They keep doing. They actually make the shoes for Rey for the films, which I guess is how they sprung to get this little deal in to get the side stuff. And they've released. I've got a pair of Resistance shoes which I'm debuting next week. They've released a new pair for pre-orders coming out in spring, and it's called the Resistance Patch shoes, and it's just a white shoe. And you know, like the patches that you sew onto your coats. There's 3 patches on a shoe. There's an X-wing. There's a Resistance that just the words Resistance and then the Resistance logo. And I looked at these and I really like Pozu, but this I don't imagine anyone wanting to buy because I'm all for patches, but you're not meant to put them on your shoes. You're meant to put them on, your jackets.
Yeah, I have a lot of patches on my
jackets, bags, things like that. Yeah.
But I have lots of patches on my jackets and stuff, but not on my shoes.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. I mean, I guess people will buy them. They said they're limited edition, so I'm sure someone will buy one and hope to sell it within the zero one in a couple of years. But I think it was very bizarre to release them shoes. I'm sorry, but we're not shoe, like, we can't talk about it for hours, and then Dash shouldn't have made that quote.
No, you should, no, absolutely not. But I mean, the Vans that came out a couple of years ago with like the Star Wars logo on, they were cool. But this I don't get, with just a plain white shoe with some patches on. Not for me. No. Not my bag at all. What is in my bag is our next piece, which is money, money, money.
From now on, you can spend real money on fake Star Wars money.
No, I think it's actually like
no, they've said it's not legal tender. However, you know that it's gonna like increase in percentage value by like 1,000%. For those that haven't guessed, they are releasing tomorrow Star Wars banknotes, designed by the companies that make the banknotes in England.
They do look very pretty though.
They look amazing, and you can tell they put a lot of time and effort into this. I think it's even got the usual hologram thing that banknotes have over, because we're doing plastic banknotes in England now, like Monopoly money. And they've tried to do all these snazzy features, and I guess it makes it great for Star Wars money though, because it won't be able to rip. And they're releasing 1,000 tomorrow, £100 each, which is a lot of money for fake money.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they look so nice. You just want one. You want to get it framed.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But that's the standard version. They're also releasing another 50 premium ones, which are going to be auctioned. And you know those are going to go through the roof.
Oh yeah, and they're going to be auctioned across 10 days. It's going to be.
Yeah, we should these are being sold on eBay if anyone does want to get them. So
yeah, it's on the official Star Wars eBay, is it?
Yeah, official Star Wars eBay. Yeah,
official Star Wars eBay page.
All the money's going to charity.
It is.
Yeah, and there are money collectors out there who will be there for those, and I can guess those ones that are going on eBay will absolutely, like Phil just said, will skyrocket in price.
To be fair though, they're just cutting out the middleman on that particular one. Instead of people buying stuff, then put it on eBay, eBay just putting it straight on there. So just cutting out the middleman. No, I mean, I want one, but I can't.
They do. There's I think what we're seeing is it's Luke. Is it Luke and Ray with the Millennium Falcon in the background as well? Kylo and Vader, is it?
Or is it Phasma?
I've not seen that one. I've only seen the light side one.
No, the Kylo one looks beautiful. I prefer the dark side one. I always have preferred the dark side. I mean, when we'll get onto the games in a second, actually, I'll announce that bit in a bit. Moving swiftly on, though, because we are just doing a short show tonight, we have another Josh Gad video. Now, for those of you who remember, a little while ago, he was questioning Daisy Ridley on the set of Murder on the Orient Express about The Last Jedi, especially the last video, which was hilarious when you had like people like Chris Pratt and so many other people just surrounding her on that one. But this time around, he's gone for Lupita Nyong'o. I don't remember where it was because I haven't actually watched the video because, again, trying to keep away from things. But George, I know you have seen it.
They're filming a film, I guess, now because it happened on Instagram. And I think he sent a cryptic tweet out like, Daisy wouldn't answer my question, so we'll try Lupita. And it's the same thing. He calls her into his trailer. And he just says, like, Lupita, I've got something to speak to you. He's like, I've tried to speak to Daisy, but you're more spiritual. You're a nicer person. You can tell me. So tell me what happens in The Last Jedi. And he's obviously joking around and she's having none of it. So, like, the thing is with these, the first one with Daisy, you don't know what. The other ones were scripted, but the first one was so legit. This is legit. Yeah. And she's literally like, Josh, it comes out next week. He's like, I know, but he's like, spoiler culture, like, who cares? And it's quite funny. And then a little girl knocks on the door who's like 4 or 5 years old. And like Lupita stopped talking to him to speak to the little girl. And then she just looks up and starts asking her questions about Star Wars. And he's obviously given her the sheet of paper with the questions on. He told her he'd pay her 20 quid. And at the end of it, Lupita was like, it's just the kid just getting no money because she didn't get any questions answered.
The best thing is, one of the questions that gets asked is, did Snoke get his wounds throughout the Clone Wars, making it all canon? And it's like, oh, that's an excellent question.
Oh, it's just... I love Josh Gad's videos. I mean, he got to sort of, what's the word? When it was Celebration, he got to sort of manage the panel, didn't he? He was the host of the panel.
The host, yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he's at the premiere in LA doing something similar again or introducing the film because we know he had a voice in Rebels, but the more we hear about this guy...
Which they wasted.
Yes, they did waste. I would love to see him in a live-action film. Not as anything important, but you know, the famous cameos everywhere and stuff like.
Yeah.
He warrants one based off what he's done for this film. He's done a lot more than the two princes have. But it's a little light video to get you. There's no spoilers or anything. But
there's no spoilers. It's worth a watch. It's funny, yeah.
I'll probably give it a watch then. Now, coming to news that actually I am very excited about, we are all actually very excited about, is that Disney and Fox are closing in a deal which would see the distribution rights for episodes 1 through 6 go to Disney, which would mean a lot of things. It would mean we can have a 1 through 9 box set. It would mean that we can have the original theatrical releases finally come out on Blu-ray. There's a lot. 4K, yeah.
This is the only good thing I've seen about this deal. I mean, from the Star Wars perspective, thank God, because I'm not gonna lie, I did think it was just A New Hope, which Phil did correct me on, and did some research. I was completely wrong. They've got all the distribution rights on 1 to 6, which is why there's been no 9 box set, which is why we haven't got theatricals, which is why they haven't done the. I mean, Gareth Edwards said he saw the 4K cut, but there's nowhere to be seen. So when this deal goes through, they're saying next week for $60 billion. First, they don't know how big Fox is. It's 20th Century Fox. And there's more than film. There's sport. Fox Sports, they're big in America in their own right. They've got
FS1, yeah, they've got rights over here as well. It's a lot more than just Star Wars, but we're just focusing on.
Yeah, this is why we'd talk. But film-wise, if anyone wants a quick briefing, the main talk at the minute is for Fantastic Four and X-Men. Deep down, I think the deal's bad. I don't like it, but for the Star Wars stuff, I don't mind it. But the other film stuff, which is irrelevant to this video, is actually quite sad. But the rights back to Disney. Hooray.
Which means that, well, more importantly, it's the rights back to Lucasfilm. That's the important part there. It's not just to Disney, it's to Lucasfilm, which then gives them the right to go and have the theatrical releases.
Do you reckon they'll put the 20th Century Fox Fair on all the films?
No. Take that out.
I think finally, because that's the one, I mean, if you get the digital releases now, A New Hope is the only one that still has the 20th Century Fox fanfare on it. And that'll be now, if they get that bought, that'll be the first thing. That'll be gone, and they can then put the films out as they want without having to put that on there anymore.
The nostalgia in me would want them on all of them, just for old time's sake. Now they've got the rights. They've got the rights to the song. Yes, that's all. Or just do what Planet of the Apes did, where they do their own little version of it. That was also wonderful. But I think that's massive for Star Wars. It's great. Part of me doesn't want. They're going to do a box set with 1 to 8, and I'll be there no. Wait for next year, get 9. And then it'll be the spin-off films. And then it'll be no, here's all that money gone on box sets and DVDs. Like all the ones behind me. There's only 4 formats there.
Yeah.
That's not enough. Where's your laser discs?
Don't own the laser discs yet. I'll probably buy them just for completionist.
Yeah, I've got them, yeah. It's craziness. But yes, it is a really good thing. I think George is right in terms of Disney getting the rights of all this movie franchise. They're becoming the studio, and it's because you think of the big films out there. There's only the Marvel movies, the Star Wars movies. It's a bit sad that it's all going to fall under one umbrella, and I get that from I've lost my earpiece. From a point of view of a movie fan, but yeah, in terms of Star Wars things, I want them. They've got most of it, so I want them to have the whole package.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it does kind of ruin the whole deal they made in the 30s, getting rid of the studio system and stopping people from having monopolies, from people having distribution, basically from pre-production all the way through to distribution. They were trying to stop people from having the entire rights because it told them where they could show the films, how they were made, how they made, where they were shown, who starred in them. And they are slowly but surely creeping back towards that. And that was a very unhealthy system anyway, which is why they got rid of it. So it's not particularly good news to have that coming back. At the same time, just for Star Wars purposes, great to have it all in one family again.
I'm sure that Warner Bros. And Justice League can stop them.
Oh, George, you say the funniest things.
Oh, dear.
That was excellent.
I was waiting ages for that. Yes.
Oh, dear me. We can't even go there.
I would rather watch Jar Jar for 2 hours on end than watch that.
Justice League hasn't made in America what Star Wars' opening weekend did, and it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's awful. Oh, yeah, it's great. The film's awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's move on to fun things and not talk about Justice League.
Yeah.
There is a rumor that the Han Solo trailer is coming next week.
Which would make a lot of sense.
I think it's coming. I mean, we've had Infinity War came out last week. That's going to get attached to Star Wars. Jurassic Park is getting attached. That's coming out tomorrow, they're saying.
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. And I guarantee you that Pacific Rim will get shown. Not a new trailer, but John Boyega, they'll attach that. And I think everyone... I mean, for all we know, it might have been announced in the Star Wars show half an hour ago. But
it was not.
It was not. Thank you for checking for me. That's what I needed to know. But I reckon it'll be there. They'll probably debut it literally the midnight screening. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd love that to be the case. To give us something who've sat through a double bill. I think it would be lovely just to say, right, just before the film starts, here's something a bit extra. Here's your Han Solo trailer. And then you're straight into the film. That would be blow everyone's little noodly minds. But yeah, it's a week away, guys. It's
either that, or it'll be, instead of a after credits scene, which Star Wars doesn't do, they'll go
trailer.
Here, have trailer.
And if everyone knows that, they'll just get their phones out and record it anyway.
Yeah. Although, the thing is that they'll release. They'll release it immediately afterwards anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not recording anything at all. This is how I keep my phone.
The best was a celebration in the Rogue One panel. Like Kathleen Kennedy was like, "Please put your phones down." Just please.
No. What annoyed me was the fact she said, because they had this big ass picture behind her of the Falcon, which of loose lips destroy ships, which was the old Navy saying. And it said, "Here's your photo opportunity." So I went to take a photo of it, and you've got a security guard coming over to me, tell me to put the phone away. I'm like, but she said we can take photos of that. I'm not going to record the damn thing. I waited overnight to get in this panel. Do you really think I'm going to get kicks out of it?
The security was just so funny though last year. Like I'd never seen anything like it at convention. Like every time someone's armored, it was like they just charged over. They were trained.
They were.
But that's Disney for you, and it's probably the one they've on set.
It was a better organised convention than one you're going to talk about later.
Of course.
But we shall move steadily forward.
We should move on to Toy Shelf and to something that I do want, but I can't afford, which is Darth Vader Episode 5. Hot Toys have announced their the new figure. It's up for pre-order now for $267 and will ship between October and December next year. And it is so pretty, and it's so... Oh, I want it so badly. But no, I cannot afford $267.
Everything.
Maybe next year, but we'll see. I mean, I want the Episode 6 Luke, which I know George has got on order, which just... They hate you for that.
Well, I dropped it because I was originally going to get like Phasma and Ren, and I realized I'm not rich. So instead, I just actually pre-ordered it. And to be fair, the pre-orders, you can pay it monthly for 3 months before they ship, which is a lot better than I thought it would be. But the thing is, I'm going to get Episode 6 Luke, which to me means that they'll probably do Episode 6 Vader next. And then probably Episode 6 Palpatine on the chair. And then they'll do Episode 6 something else. And before you know it, you're gone. But that's like my one purchase to take me through.
As far as Hot Toys is concerned, I'd love to get a figure, but right now I'm saving for the Vader helmet. The melted Vader helmet is my next big purchase.
I don't know if the melted Vader helmet, the Vader helmet actually comes apart.
I've got a Vader. I've already got a Vader helmet, so that's the thing. I've got a Vader helmet, so I now need the melted one. I've
got a bow like you two, but I don't have a Vader one. So I might go for the disassembled Vader one, like the one that you can actually just take apart and rebuild. And yeah,
you're gonna like get someone to like create a clamp to pull it off when you need it and stuff.
Yeah, when you sat in your chair, just a little pulley system. Just
yeah. Oh, that's how I introduce the shows from now on. Just hello.
Would be great.
Oh, I want to do that now so badly. I mean, I won't, but that would be pretty awesome. We might as well go swiftly on to games, and something I was alluding to earlier with Star Wars Battlefront II. Again, it's something that we've been waiting for. It's the first bit of DLC, which goes live, what is it, next week on the 13th?
Next Wednesday, so I'm not going to be able to play till Thursday, I'm afraid, which is quite actually sad. We're getting Finn and Phasma, if you haven't guessed already. We're getting crates, a space battle at Takar. We're getting a new ships, new everything, and some story mode stuff as well, which is quite cool. All for free. Which I may add.
Good.
Yes, that's what they're calling it, aren't they? But what they've done is they've been big at this thing called faction challenges. You pick Resistance or First Order. I picked First Order.
I picked Resistance. So First Order, yep.
And then what happens? You get set challenges over these days. So yesterday, you had to get 200 kills of each class, which I've got 178 of already, and you got a couple of weeks to do that one. The other ones today was like play team deathmatch 5 times basically. The other one like get 10 grenade kills. They're going to tally up, I think, how many you get and then declare a winner. Although there actually is no sort of middle ground of who's been better and stuff. Like they don't actually have a tally chart so who's winning, which to me is a bit dodgy. But that being said, in a week today there will be some new content, but that started. They've also done a minor update to get more in-game credits and crafting parts due to the backlash, realizing how hard it is to get some of these normally. Personally, credits are easy to get. Crafting parts are hard. That's what they needed to sort out, which they have done.
Crafting parts are pain.
Yeah, and because you need them and they're hard to get. But they've sorted that. But I guess.
Well, yes, I've been focusing on unlocking crates instead of actually unlocking heroes, just so I can get crafting parts and get.
I've got all my. I mean, I've paid it way too much. I've got all my heroes. I've got 30 grand in cash reserve to get Finn and Phasma, depending on their price next week, and then I'll be saving for Obi-Wan and Anakin when the time comes, because we need them both soon.
But speaking of the backlash, yeah.
The EA chairman. I mean, EA is not a good company. Everyone knows. Didn't they get voted worst company like
something
2 years in a row?
Yeah. They don't do well.
They've lost $3 billion in stock in the last 2 weeks thanks to the I'd say it's more than the Battlefront backlash, but it's come at the same time because it's just quarterly results, which they really wouldn't have wanted to hear. The EA chairman has defended microtransactions, but that's more about the sports if he was talking about. But they asked him about customization in Battlefront 2. And his words were, we haven't done it because, quote, no one wants to see Darth Vader in pink, and we don't want to disrupt canon. He said he doesn't want to disrupt canon.
Yeah.
But you can play on Kamino with Rey against Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And that's not
it makes no sense.
It's just a complete contradictory functionality that's going, well, we don't want it to do this, but of course you can do that. People want to have the fighting. It seems like they've started out badly. The press have slated them. Everyone slated them for the way they put this game out, when all people wanted was literally put out a good Star Wars game. That'll and end all that the fans wanted. A good Star Wars game. Don't mess around with it. You know what we want. You put a story in, that's great. And then they went out and pretty much destroyed this game for themselves. And it's ruined a lot of people's experience of this game. And I know it's now not selling as well as they wanted. But to be honest, there's people online who are slating the game, which I think is wrong, because the game itself
brilliant.
Is
the way the company have handled it has been terrible.
Yeah, it's just left a bad taste thing for a lot of gamers.
Yeah, there's a better petition line for Disney to pull
Disney to revoke
license.
The license. Yeah, it won't happen. Like
it won't.
It
would be
a terrible company.
I'd like to see what they do with Battlefront 3 because I reckon they'd fix it.
Yeah, and it'll come out around the time of Episode 9 because every 2 years they do a Battlefront. But it is a great game, but EA just handled it.
It's not. Yeah, but I say it's not the game; it's the company and the way they've handled things. And in terms of this customization thing, what most of us want is clones to go cool. Instead of just having bog standard clone, we can have the 501st, we can have the 302nd, we can have all the different legions, we can have all the different types of clones. Again, same stormtroopers, same with First Order stormtroopers. Again with the Resistance, Rebel Alliance. I mean, there's so many different aspects that we want. It's not necessarily to have a pink Darth Vader. If you want to do customization on heroes, then great. Do a battle damaged Vader. Do one for the comics where he's just completely destroyed, his cape is ripped to shreds. Things like that. You have like the Ralph McQuarrie variant as well. Something along those lines. You don't necessarily have to do a pink one. You know what I mean? It's like, and as I said, don't disrupt the canon. Well, unfortunately, you already forget, as he said, you can have Rey fighting clones on Kamino. That's something that would never happen in the canon, yet you can do it. So I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
It is. It's just EA. Like DICE make the game. DICE do it. EA publish it, and it's at least now they're going for everyone else. They're starting to go for FIFA. They're targeting the other games. Like looking back at the bigger picture, I don't know. I can't compare it to that scandal. But Battlefront's the first game that's got caught out, but they're going to use this to get all the others. Which the longer picture that could be better. But it's just unfortunate I had to tie in with Star Wars. But that was the best time to go for a game because the Star Wars fan base, they're not your normal gamers. They're Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
That's why it's had a bigger impact.
They don't take anything.
But I guess moving on from one disgraceful company to another.
Yes. What was like you?
So Cantina Talk. I attended a convention on Saturday called For the Love of Sci-Fi in Manchester in England. And it has been dubbed as the convention, quotes, by the fans, for the fans. And for an independent event, they had more A-list names than I've seen MCM and Showmaster for a long time. They had Shatner, Billy D. Williams, David Hasselhoff, Dolph Lundgren, Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, Ian McDermott, Dennis Lawson, Una Satamo, who's the new Chewbacca. Who else did they have? They had Casper Van Dien. They had loads of these big, most of them are big names, but I got my tickets. They were a good price, and I went on Saturday, and it was a disaster. They'd sold too many tickets. The entirety of the inside was a queue to get into Autograph Hall, to which you queue. If you bought your tickets online, which I did, you meant to get priority entrance, which you didn't get. You got tricked in everybody else. There were no stewards. All the sellers were trucked outside in a marquee tent because they'd clearly realized they sold too many tickets and there was no room for them inside. The entire thing was a disaster. It was unsafe. They did bag checks. They peered into a carry bag. They didn't look at my rucksack or anything with my clothes in. Given up in Manchester earlier this year, that's even worse. From the looks of things, there was no way disabled people would be able to get into the autograph hall because there were steps, and you had people walking around asking how do we get in. Parents, prams, everything. It was a complete disaster. It's so hard to talk about because of how bad it is. But I think another thing I mentioned was free parking by the venue. They didn't mention there was no spaces, so people were sent miles out. Apparently, people with disabled people in the car, they were sent miles out to basically push or wheel them over there, which was terrible because it was literally on industrial estate off A road, which was even deadlier to walk to from where we were. The event was shocking. I did meet Billy D. Williams and the two other guys, but we got in at we aimed to get there for 9, and we queued outside for at least 45 minutes to get in. 10:15. Straight to the autograph queue, got in at the autographs about 11:15. Billy D. Williams, he didn't no-show, but he came quite late. We didn't get his autograph till gone 1:30. So it was a long wait. I mean, it was Billy D. Williams. I wasn't to meet him, and he was great. And we spoke and stuff, got us on the box set. And the way the queues were on the inside, they just tricked all the guests together, and you basically formed a queue yourself. So the Billy D. Williams, Dolph Lundgren, Hasselhoff, and Shatner queues were 9/10 of the room. And the other guys had queues, but they just overlapped, and no one had a clue what was going on. So, for example, it took me 3.5 hours to get Billy D. Williams. It took me 10 minutes to get Jonas Satamo and Dennis Lawson after. The event was a disaster. I got home. I think I messaged you guys saying I've just been to the worst events of my lifetime. It was dangerous. If there'd been a fire, I literally have no idea how people had got out. There was no room to walk or breathe. It was honestly that bad. And then to top everything off, there was a fight which got onto Facebook later that night of two people fighting. I think it was one of the security guys actually. And
it was a vendor trying to get into his car up to the venue. From what's being said now, it's a vendor trying to get his car up to the venue so he can get stuff out of it to take into the hall, and they were stopping him from getting up to the actual venue, saying no, you can't take your car up there. And he was actually a vendor on site who's selling stuff, and the security guy just starts throwing knees and fists at him, the British way. It was absolutely shocking.
It was terrible. Facebook was golden that night. They did some big apology. Well, they didn't even do an apology post, but they mentioned, we're upset with all your feedback. We're going to try and make changes for tomorrow. I have heard Sunday was better, but I can imagine so many people with weekend tickets wouldn't have bothered going, which is why it was quieter. And I can also imagine a lot of people not wanting to go had tickets because they'd heard about it. But the organisers were nowhere to be seen. There was a big hoo-ha. I guess the warning messages were there on Facebook about 2 months ago. They announced someone was there from Ghostbusters. They bigged this new Ghostbusters signing up for about a month. Never signed in the UK, and it turned out it was like a girl from the opening scene. And there was so much outrage at how they'd bigged up that the organizer on Facebook started actually giving abuse to people, commenting and got all whingy and stuff. I guess that was the signs, to be fair. But it was shocking, and it was. it was so bad. Like, I love the fact that I witnessed it. If anything happened, literally that's it. It's just done and dusted. Apparently, loads of people who pre-booked their autograph didn't actually get to meet them. Someone had a autograph and a photograph booked, and they took the photograph paper, but they took the autograph ticket, wouldn't give it back. Said they'd already had it and stuff. It was terrible. And they haven't even got back to everybody who's complained on Saturday, let alone what happened on Sunday and the other stuff. But I think there's rumours that someone said they were going to contact the HSE, which is like the health service, something like that. Because clearly there were way too many people, and someone did some research that Bowler's exhibition is meant to hold 1,300 people. There was way more than 1,300 people there that day. It was honestly shocking.
That's one of the things that's very much come out of how dangerous it would have been had anything gone on in there. Like if a fire broke out anywhere, there was no way people would have got out of that building. There's just
no. It was awful.
That's the side of it. Yeah, that just there was no. The stewarding seems to be the big thing people are putting out, especially the bag checks, like you said. So some guy on Facebook said he actually had a gun, a rifle, and asked if it had to be checked, and he was just waved on through the doors. Nobody checked to see, it wasn't a live firearm. There's no tagging or anything like that. Didn't check anything out. Just in you go. Yes, it's a cosplayer, and yes, it is going to be a fake weapon, but you can't run these kind of risks these days.
No, I mean, when we go to MCM, I do cosplay. I've cosplayed for the past 3 years I've been. So I've done Kylo Ren, I've done Spider-Man Noir, and I've done Bodhi this year. And when you go, they do have quite severe weapons checks. If you take a firearm, you have to have the tip painted orange, or at least, even if it's not painted orange, you have to have something on there to show that it is a fake firearm. It's again, they do go through, and if you don't obey by it, they'll take it from you. And that's just not that's how it should be done. I mean, yeah, the queues there are horrific, but it's always moves, always is safe, and they do what they can. Whereas this just sounded horrible. I mean, what were the prices like though? Because that's one thing I haven't asked you. What were the prices like this year?
Entry was 10 quid. I paid as a student, although I've been a student for a year. I didn't even check. That's fine by me. I'll do it again if I ever go again. Autographs. Ian McDermott was 60, which he was in London when I met him, so that's fine. Billy D 40. Yeah. Dennis Olsen 25. Interesting. Jonas Utami was 20 for me. I booked it a month ago. He got bumped up within a week of me booking to 30 quid each. The prices were fine, and I get where they go. This was done by the fans, but there's a time and a place for fans. Fans can do conventions, don't get me wrong, but when you've got that sort of them guests attending, that's you meant to do for the pros. I can imagine a lot of them guests seeing this nonsense and be like, I'm done. I ain't coming back. It was just so badly done. But the prices weren't bad. But apparently one issue, I didn't bother because I left after, but there was one or two food stands max for a convention for a couple of thousand people, so the queues outside were to get food. It was just so badly done. I just don't have a clue what they were thinking. They're obviously thinking about the money. There's probably a combination. They want some money for themselves. They've got to pay the guests. They need to sell more tickets and stuff like that. It's completely backfired. And I think it was in the Manchester News about how bad it was as well, which is great. I'm sure there'll be other stuff that comes from it. But if you're bored, go on there for the Love of Sci-Fi Facebook page and just read the comments, because it was that bad.
Good times.
To be fair, we'll go for the first onto the lighter note with our final thoughts on episode 8 and what we're hoping and how excited we are for next week, because I cannot wait. It is 1 week. This time next week, we'll be sat in our respective cinemas waiting for the double bill to start, because it starts at 9 p.m. next week. We are literally 1 week away.
Yeah,
I'm saving.
And he, sorry, George. And he was just. As soon as I started talking about it, and at first I didn't even think, it's a week away. And then as soon as I started talking about it, I was like, it's a week away. It's actually a week away. I'll be leaving work this time next week, and I'll be going straight out, a beer and something to eat, and then go and see the movie. And I can't believe it. I'm really looking forward to our discussion on Sunday, which George mentioned at the top of the bill, that we're going to be having a video Sunday where we'll discuss our thoughts on what we think is going to happen, maybe with certain characters, and what we think might come out of it. And then obviously Phil and I will be talking today, as least without getting any spoilers in there. And then let's say the following Wednesday of that, we will have the big spoiler. If you haven't seen this, don't watch, because we're going to go through everything feature. I can't wait for the next couple of weeks, guys.
It's going to be good fun. It's what everything's built to. And it's a nice way to almost round out a year of us being together on the channel. But
Yeah.
I'm going to save on the big stuff for Sunday. But what I can say for next week is that I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing.
Indeed, indeed. And also, after the spoiler-filled episode 8 panel, our episode 8 review, we will be talking about what we're going to be doing over the Christmas period, because, of course, around Christmas, we may or may not put out an episode because of family and just commitments, but we will let you know what's happening in the future. But I think that's it for us. Anything else you want to say, guys?
No, just want to actually say our subscribers on YouTube have jumped up a little bit. So we have got a few more subscribers. So thank you very much for coming on board. If anyone is watching who happened to watch Eggheads on BBC Two last week, got to mention the podcast, which was great. Got to mention out on there on BBC Television. So if any of you guys saw that and that's why you're here, that's awesome too. Welcome. Really just good. Everyone who's here, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Any comments to give? We really, really enjoy doing this. We really want to keep doing it. So please just keep joining us on a fortnightly basis.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yes. So yes, we one's the Force. When the Force always be with you. Good night.